Hi, this is Vincenzo Riccardi, sketch card artist for the Marvel Flair 2019 and the Marvel Weekly 2019 for Marvel Upper Deck. And you're listening to the Marvel Trading Card Collectors podcast. Enjoy!
Record. Let me just go back up and check it's recording. It is recording. A bit away from my mouth. Oh my goodness, dear. Do you want to get some coffee? You all right?
Come on. It's just, I'm sorry.
Lovely stuff. Right. Where are we? Just quickly check my e-packs before I go to
I got my e-packs up as well, so I can share my screen and show you.
I got e-packs, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Taylor, and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. And you better keep that in on the edit, buddy.
I will.
Brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective, an awesome community of card collectors and creators. I've gone already. You know where to find our groups. They're on Facebook. Just keep listening to the end. You'll find the details. With me is my co-pilot in all things Marvel cards. He may be a marvelous 80, but doesn't look a day over 29.
Damn.
It's
I
Norrin.
love it. Hello.
Here we go. Hello, everybody. I suppose I should actually start talking, given it's a podcast.
Possibly. I mean, I think we can just look at each other. People will get the vibe.
We have done an episode where we shrugged at each other for a good 10 seconds and no one heard anything.
Oh, yeah. So. That was a good episode.
Yeah. It was a good episode, yeah. Hello, everybody. We've so much to talk about in this episode. It's ridiculous. We already had quite a lot of good shizzle. But then, as you will know, if you're up to date on things or you're following our Instagram or our Twitter or our Facebook, which is at the MCC Pod. See, I got it in nice and early this episode. You will know that since the last episode, which we recorded a week ago from when I talk, and obviously we only dropped it yesterday, Marvel 80th, which we had previewed, suddenly got announced on... What day was it?
I think
Tuesday?
so. It just dropped out of nowhere.
Tuesday. Got announced on Tuesday saying it's on sale tomorrow.
I love that.
Yeah, that's right. 7th. So they put out the announcement. It's on sale tomorrow as the 8th, and it was an e-pack exclusive.
Yeah.
So it's not going into stores, which is why no one had heard about it, which is why no one knew about it, which is why it wasn't showing up on
the Cardboard Connection, blowout forms.
Yeah, all the dealers, and so obviously, possibly a little bit of a. In fact, one dealer who we know who's in the group did comment that he was a bit bitter about it. But it's an e-pack exclusive, and it's out. And Norrin and I have been going in ham for it, which is your expression.
I definitely went ham, for sure. And
for you.
For me, I did. Yeah. For me, like, my ham is like, I bought a box, and there's no surfer cards in it. So most people were like, what are you doing? But... I did go in because I wanted to be part of this brilliant conversation, and my boy Ian is in it, and I want to be part of the movement. So I'm here.
Okay, so Marvel 80th, it's really interesting. So this is kind of going to be us talking about Marvel 80th and giving it a bit of a review. I'm gonna just get to the punchline here. I absolutely love it. I think it's a great looking set. It isn't new artwork. It's comic art, but they've done something very similar to what they did for Marvel Weekly. And in fact, when I look at Marvel Weekly, I can see actually some of the character cutouts, like the Wolverine, for example, they've used.
Well, some of the cutouts on the 80th are actually the negatives for the Marvel Weekly.
Yeah, which would have been the first sort of cards in every 4-week cycle on Weekly. So it's a big set. So I'm just going to lay it down for those who don't know, and then we can get into talking about it. So it is 200 cards, but they're all digital base. Okay, so that means that 200 card base set doesn't physically exist. So given this is an e-pack exclusive release, I don't consider them base cards, because they're not cards.
Right, they're not cards. They're now
You're just buying 200 images that you know times 5 that you have to combine. So you have to combine 5
Right.
of each to get your physical, which is your it's called your color spike, which is a variation on the color wheel thing that they were doing with Marvel Annual. So which is absolutely fine because you know the base cards are nice, but they're very very kind of plain and simple. You know, there's not much going on behind the cutout. So effectively, the color spike adds the background. So 1 to 100 are your kind of regular, and then the cards 101 to 200 they call the high series, which I think that's an interesting name. I don't. I think they are probably a little bit more short print.
They're way more short print. So if you go to store and you go to well,
I'm just going to go to the checklist on my screen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Just so that I know what I'm talking about. And you're this is the point where you see how deep I am down the rabbit hole.
I love it.
So so you got your base set, then you got your high series, and then you combine 5, and they're digital. So you got 100 cards, then 101 to 200. Then you've got base set color spike and high series color spike, and those are the cards you get that are physical when you combine 5 of the digital version. Then you've got a retro parallel and a high series retro parallel, and those I'm very enamored with. I have to say. So basically speaking, there are two lots of 200 that you can have physically in your hand, and the base is kind of the digital stepping stone to that. Then you have 3D cover comic covers, but they're 3D lenticulars, and there's not that many of them. There's 12 regular ones and 6 short print. Then you've got something really nice, which is greater story puzzles. And these are specifically designed to work on a 9-page binder page. So Upper Deck, I don't know if you've been listening, but thank you for doing that because it just looks really, it's a really nice image.
They're utilizing how collectors display and collect these cards in a very interesting way.
Yeah, it just looks really good.
Oh my God. Ian.
I've just opened it up and you've seen that I've got all of those almost. So the greatest story puzzles, I didn't realize this until yesterday. There's the night Gwen Stacy died is the first binder page. So you've got 9 cards in that. Then you've got Dark Phoenix Saga. Then you've got Infinity Gauntlet, House of M, Civil War, and Secret Wars. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count. It's terrible. So you've got 6 by 9.
You're a beast.
But what I didn't realize is that cards 8 and 9 of each 9-card thing are short print. I thought the short print was just an extra kind of
the 9th card.
Last 9. But I didn't realize it was the 8th and 9th card. So there's me thinking, I've finished all these 9-card pictures, and they make a really good picture. And some of the guys have put them on the group, and I'll
Pankit.
Have to Pankit. I will have to be good
evening,
buddy. Sir. Good evening, Pankit. I will have to put them on the tasting notes. So you're gonna get some of this stuff on the tasting notes. Obviously not all of it because we'll be here all day. But you know, it's an open internet. You can go and have a look at the stuff on ePacks. We'll put the links for that on the show notes. And Great Stories. So the Great Stories Puzzles SP, which are the last 2. So you'll see there that I'm just missing 3 of the SP ones. And I've finished those Greatest Story puzzles. Now, actually, the regular Greatest Stories puzzles are fairly. They're fairly. You almost get one of those.
Yeah, I actually got the whole Infinity Gauntlet set, which I'm in love with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one took. Yeah, because I got an SP, Civil War or House of M. So I swapped with somebody. Yeah.
So you got the one you wanted.
I got my.
I'm just really looking forward to going for those. And then you have. I'm going to come on to those in a minute. I'm just going to jump back to the 3D cover lenticulars.
By the way, I will say
they look incredible.
Yeah, the 3D covers I'm so excited to talk about. By the way, I think the puzzle ones really are the ones that started getting people more excited about the set. I think people started realizing like, oh wait, this is actually going to look really cool. And they're all original artwork, just so everybody knows. Like they're not Yeah. So like
yes, the greatest.
Marvel is really celebrating the first images of every character. So usually what you're seeing in these cards is the very first image of their first appearance.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
cut and put into this frame on the card, which gives us this really cool kind of aesthetic, which is part of their whole theme. But the puzzles are really encapsulating that really cool moment, or one of the best storylines, or one of the most interesting storylines over the 80 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they are. I mean, card 1 is Namor, card 3 is Captain America. So there's kind of the oldest characters.
Oh, there is an order like that, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if it stays all the way throughout. But some of the early ones, I really
is Cosmic Ghost Rider. So it must be.
then.
I think it might.
That's interesting. I'd not noticed that at all.
Huh.
So, I mean, I'd love to have a physical copy of the base cards, because they look really clean and really nice, and the backs of them look really nice as well. Let me just get that bigger on my screen. So the Captain America. I mean, that is a really early image of Captain America there. And on the back of it, you've got an image of his first comic appearance. It's really clean. It's got the Marvel 80 logos in the top left. It's got a little bit about the creation of him. Tells you his key appearance.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's first appearance. Must be, because that is his first appearance. And it just looks really good.
I think
I
it
love
looks awesome.
I love the design. I love the layout. I went big into Marvel 70th from Rittenhouse when they had the license. I didn't do 75th. Weirdly, 75th I kind of missed. This is going to sound really silly. I didn't realize that Marvel 75th had been released by Rittenhouse until about a year ago.
See, that actually makes sense, because when I was hunting for it, I had kind of a difficult time realizing that too. Actually, one of my favorite things about Marvel 75th was the inserts that were all numbered to 75. Those are some of my favorite pieces. I really love that gold border. Physically, that card is just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So I'm jumping around all over the place. Let me finish describing the set, and I'm going to go and talk about aspects of the base set and the retro parallel, especially, that I really like. So the original art, the only original art in this, is on the Greater Story puzzles. Everything else is from elsewhere, but the nature of where they've taken it from elsewhere is really intriguing. So on the comic cover 3D lenticulars, it is exactly what it says on the tin. So it is the front cover of key comics, and I mean, obviously hundreds they could have chosen. I'm going to open up the first one that I pulled, which is here, which is
great piece.
Zero. It says Marvel's. Yeah, it is Marvel Zero, and it's basically the Alex Ross cover of that, but it's done as a 3D lenticular. So I can't wait to see that in the flesh, because you can kind of get a sense of it on the pictures on EPAC, but it just looks really
because
good.
It has the cutout, like it has that classic Marvel, those Marvel cover cutouts that they did. Man, it looks so good.
So I'm really, really excited to see that. When my computer catches up with me, I'll be able to get a couple of the others up on the screen for my buddy Norrin to do. See, that's the rotating wheel of doom. Of doom. Here we go. So I've got, there's 12 of the 3D lenticulars, and then there are, I think, 6 short print. So there's 18 when you add them together. So again,
2 pages.
They're catering to the 9 card pages. I don't know how thick they're going to be. I'd imagine they'll have to be a little bit thicker because of the 3D
to get the effect. I would think so.
Yeah. I've managed to so far get 4 of the regular and 2 of the short print, and I think they're a pretty tough get.
I actually got the 2 I wanted. I got the X-Men first issue cover,
which is this one here. I'm about to open up. X-Men
I'm in love with.
90.
I love that piece. And then I got the Marvel one that you pulled, because after I saw you pull it, I was like, nope, I need that.
Yeah, no. So I mean, Marvel's is kind of a no-brainer, really. There's a couple of interesting choices here. Amazing Spider-Man 278. I wouldn't say that was ever an iconic cover, but I think they must have chosen ones that work in that format.
Oh, Marvel's 25th anniversary. Maybe these are hallmarks in the decades.
Possibly. I mean, Amazing Spider-Man 278 is kind of the conclusion of the Hobgoblin series, and it is a beautiful cover. I wouldn't have necessarily expected to see that honored in that way. Let's have a look. Marvel Comics presents
That's
77 is a Weapon X one.
crazy good one.
Yeah, that's just a lovely cover. The thing is with Marvel Comics Presents as well, this is what I love about
I love
Marvel
that
Comics
so
Presents,
much.
I picked up 4 more issues, is that it's got double covers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flip book.
That's right.
Which is why I ended up with so many doubles of them before I got sorted and got an app, because I'd see them and I think, oh, I haven't got that one. You turn it over and of course, because I do have it, but I don't remember that cover. Anyway, I digress. So you got the 3D lenticulars. You've great stories, and we're almost done, folks. This is actually quite a tidy, tight set. Although there's a lot of there's a lot of volume of cards. There's not that many levels to it, and not that many layers to it. Because then you go to the higher end pools, which are the comic clippings. So you'll have heard us talk about comic cuts before, where there's sections of comic panel that are cut out and put into cards. I mean, this is literally that. The interesting way they've gone about it is that they have led with describing them by the artist name and then the issue.
I love that.
And I think that's really interesting. So they've clearly chosen to focus on the artists. That is carried through by the fact that you've then got another subset, and that's really limited and tough to get because there's only 25 of each. There's 27 of these. So 27 cards, and there's 25 of each card.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So all the autos are all numbered to 25?
Yeah. So what this is, it's a comic cut, but it's also then signed by the artist.
Or writer,
I have
or
one of
penciler.
those. Or possibly, yeah. I've got an Al Milgrom one here. This is the only one I've got, which is Spectacular Spider-Man, Volume 1, number 38. And it looks, from the scans, obviously we don't have these in hand, it looks like it's a sticker autograph, not on card. But to me, that doesn't matter. I know some people it's an issue, especially in sports card, as to whether it's on card or whether it's a sticker.
Yeah, I think Star Wars too.
For me, I don't care. So you've got, I've got number 13 of 25. It's just a lovely card.
And comic cuts
those are the ones.
So great.
Those are the ones I'm currently pushing for. I'll talk about how and why in a moment. And then you've got sketch cards, which are very interestingly broken down into Golden Age, Silver Age, and Bronze Age. And they are character specific.
Yes.
So they're actually, and this is interesting because it's always been difficult on e-packs to find sketch cards by character. Not anymore. So when you look in the Marvel 80th anniversary sketch cards on e-pack, the Golden Age, you don't see it by artist. You see Bucky Barnes, Captain America, Namor, Red Skull, Whizzer. Then you've got 15 in the Silver Age, which is Ant-Man, Angel, Beast, Cyclops, etc. And then the Bronze Age is 40 of them. And of course, my girl Black Cat is in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not your boy Silver Surfer, although I'm sure you found other stuff to get your teeth into, which we'll talk about in a moment. And then you have sketch cards, which are 3.5 by 5, so they're slightly bigger. They're not. I don't think they're as big as the artist-proof uncut ones that you had in Rittenhouse. I think they're a little bit smaller.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they're a tiny bit smaller. I think they're about the same size as the Premiere oversized ones.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the Rittenhouse ones were slightly.
I'm sure
wider.
you're right. Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah. I think it's by the Rittenhouse ones. I want to say 4 by 6 for those, whereas these are listed as 3.5 by 5. Anyway, it's a bigger palette, and those aren't character specific, so they're listed by artist. And Al Milgrom is in there as an artist, so I haven't as yet. In fact, let me have a look on the marketplace and see if there's any of his stuff out there. While I'm waiting for that to load, I'll just finish. So then there's a 2-piece puzzle sketch cards thing. There's only one of those, and that's Jay Peter Renetz, I think is how you pronounce that. Jay, good evening, Jay. I know you're in the group.
Jay.
And I think I've asked you to come and do an intro for us. If I haven't, then please come and do an intro for us. Then you have the achievements. Now, unlike Flair, which went all in on the achievements, I mean, my goodness, there was an achievement just for turning up. And they were difficult to get.
They were really hard, but it was kind of cool.
I feel it was kind of cool, but I feel I feel beaten by Flair, which I'm going to come on to in a moment. Marvel History Achievements. And what that is If you get a full Color Spike parallel set, you get a card with an M on. If you get a full high series Color Spike parallel set, which you have to combine 5 of the digital versions to get each one of those cards, so that's 500 digital base cards just to get that one, you get the A, and then the retro parallel 1 to 100, you get the R, and then you get the V with the high series retro parallel, etc. So you get 6 cards that spell out Marvel, and it's quite a cool image actually. I'll just quickly pull it up because no, I won't, because I'm in a different browser screen. So I'll carry on talking. It'll go on the tasting notes, knowing you can find it.
What are you trying to pull up?
Yeah, the Marvel. There is an image on the email from. In fact, no, let me get it up. There is an image on the email from Upper Deck telling us about this set that has that Marvel spelt out.
Yeah. So you can look
right.
at each individual one through the checklist.
You can. It's the image of the 6 I'm looking for. So let me just find that. Speaking of which, I need to chase Upper Deck because I did a purchase the other day and it went through, but I didn't get a pack. Not happy about that.
That's weird.
I have emailed them and they replied, "You didn't get a pack?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I didn't get a pack." Where's my pack? Here we go. Right. So let me open up this email. So I should have opened this up. It's just nice.
It looks great.
So, there you go. Marvel.
Beautiful.
It's actually quite
and
nice.
That Marvel spelled out, that's on a patch, right? Those are patches?
I don't know. It's not clear.
It's not clear.
It's not clear. I don't think it is. Because to be honest with you, no one was worried about that. Because the first 10 collectors do all 6 letters got, if I can find it, because I've got X number, you got an original comic art piece. And there were 10 of those. So
from published comic books. From published comic books, you get an original page.
Yeah. Yes. Drawn by that artist.
Crazy.
You get the original page. So so people were motoring, and I was getting, and the one that people were having trouble completing was the base set high series.
Yeah.
That was the one that people were having trouble getting all 5 cards for, to be able to then get the high series Color Spike parallel, to then be able to get the letter A. And I kid you not when I say that for about 10 or 12 of those digital base set high series, I got one of those comic clippings.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, someone was properly like, because the thing that is interesting about this is that people really wanted to get in that 10 to get that piece of original.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So I mean,
is it done? What's the number?
I think about 6 of them have been redeemed. You can check. Can check.
I'll go to achievements.
The first guy got an X-Men one. I can't remember his name now. And he did say afterwards, he said, "I'm moving so fast, I actually only needed about half of those. I felt so bad, I sent him an extra card, like a proper card that he could use to trade."
Oh, wow.
Because, you know, he kind of lost track of it. And it is, especially with those digitals, it's really difficult to lose track of where you are and how many you've redeemed, how many you haven't redeemed.
True.
And if you've sent out loads of trades and a lot of them suddenly get accepted, you'll find yourself with more than you intended to have, stuff like that.
I hope you're ready for this. It's over.
Go on. Oh, okay. That explains why it slowed down overnight then. The last 3 days, I've been waking up to about 20 trades every morning.
Wow.
It's been crazy. Yeah. And so as a result, I haven't actually got many of the high series Color Spike parallels at all. In fact, I've only got one, which is Black Cat.
Wow.
And I need another one of those. So you can see that is vastly empty, whereas my base set Color Spike parallel I've almost done. If you look at my screen there, I'm maybe 15 cards away from getting 1 to 100 as the physical set, which is the Color Spike.
What a beast!
So, but yeah, that one's going to be a lot better. But to be honest with you, because all those people who've motored, there'll be quite a lot of redeemed copies of these cards now, just sat on the market.
This is true.
So I'll just pick those up because I'm not fussed about the achievements, and it's a good job too because they've gone.
Yeah, seriously.
And nor did I have the investment to buy as many cards as would have been
No.
needed to get that moving. So, but it's nice. But what I want to come back to is the retro parallels, because the retro parallels actually change up the imagery a bit, and they look absolutely wonderful. And so for me, that's the jewel in this set. Let me go back to it. So the retro parallels. When you pull the retro ones, they just come as the physical cards. There's none of that digital card chicanery going on. I like the word chicanery there.
That was a
good
good use of that, yeah.
So I'm going to just pull up Magneto for the sake of argument. And it's got a different color border for a start. I don't know if it is. That's a bonkers image.
I love that. Well, that's
they've used for
the first, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What I find interesting is that when I look at it, especially when I flip over to the back, it looks aged.
Yeah, I love that.
And they've actually got a different back to it. It's a different color. I'm not sure if the text is the same, but it's not got the glossy feel of it. It's not got the glossy look. It's not got the image of the first issue they appeared in. So it's got a very different layout. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is on stock similar to that top stock they use, that heritage stock that Greg described.
So for the living,
so that it looks like the original 70s.
Yeah, so for
cards.
the living set in Star Wars, where you can buy like these portraits done by Chris Pex, I believe is his name, Penix, who's just phenomenal. I've actually spoken to him, so we might get an intro from him, hopefully. Because we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I think it's going to have that kind of like old cardboardy kind of feel to it, which I'm a huge fan of, man.
I love the expression heritage stock.
Heritage stock. So
I don't know if that's something that Greg coined or if it's what they actually.
It's definitely
call it.
something we should utilize. We should take.
It's well, I'm going to. So basically, it's on heritage stock, or Upper Deck's version of it. At least it looks like it. I'm just looking at a digital picture of it. So because I don't have any of these in hand yet. Now the interesting thing with this is that having busted quite a few packs, the base set retro parallel is a lot rarer to pull than the high series. So they've mixed up the ratio odds a little bit. Because you assume 1 to 100 is going to be the easy one, and then 101 to 200 is going to be the more difficult one. And that is true of the digital base set that you can bind for the Color Spike parallel. But it's flipped on the retro parallel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look how many retro parallels I've got. I've got maybe 10. And the high series retro parallel, I've got about 2/3 of the set. 101 to 200.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I noticed that when I was opening my box. I looked at the number that I got from the box, and I've noticed it since on packs. Well. So
very cool.
So but it's not, aside from the fact that you've got. If you take the digital base out of the equation, when you get this home and you've got it in your hands, you've got a 200 card Color Spike. That is effectively your physical base set. Then you've got your high series retro parallel, which is another 200 cards. Then you've got 18 free deal lenticular covers. You've got 6 sheets worth of Greatest Story puzzles to flip through. Then you've got the comic cuts, the autos, and that's it. Unless, of course, you've gone in for sketch cards. It's a decent volume of cards, but there's not actually that much to it. So I think they've kept it quite tight, even though it's quite a big. Sort of, it's in big chunks, and there isn't really a middle tier with it. If you look at it in that sense,
really.
With a lot of sets, you had the stuff that was really easy to get, and you had loads of, and then you had some stuff that was a bit harder, then a bit harder, then you've got the stuff that's really tough to get. With this, there's kind of the extremes, and there's it's just the volume of it. I think that's going to
so too.
Be difficult for people. But it's nice. But I love it so much so. I've kind of, where I'm up to with Flare is I did tiers 1 to 5 on the Flareum. Those have been done for a while. I'd done like the base level of some of the stuff I was going for, like the Singularity and the Matter, and the Antimatter, and pieces of Flare. I'd done that. Some of them I'd done the SP level set, and some of them I hadn't. Some of them I'd got some of the SSPs, and I was getting close. I basically decided, look, it's just proving A, too tricky, and B, surprisingly with Flare, once I get the base card art aside, I was actually surprisingly easy to say, you know what, I'd rather have this. So I've opened up my SSP stuff and my Power Blast and my high-end stuff, and I've been trading that for the higher-end stuff from this, like the comic clippings and the 3D cards.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
You know, if I choose to do so, I can just buy on ComSci in a few years' time. I can pick up flair slowly that way.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm really starting to appreciate so much about EPAC is that there really is this sense of like you can go ahead, buy stuff, right? Buy a box, buy a pack or whatever, and essentially trade your way to get what you want. So it's never kind of like this thing, like like if you go to a physical box, you buy a box, you have the cards, and that's what you have, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have that network of trades, you don't have that network of, swapping and all this kind of stuff, bartering or whatever the case may be. So there is there's a level of excitement with EPAC that kind of resembles how back in the day when you would open a box with a group of friends. So it's I'm starting to really appreciate its function and its ability of what it's able to do.
It is relatively hot on the heel of Marvel Flair. So Marvel Flair is kind of still, especially those higher tier cards, they are still sought after and they are still in demand.
Yeah.
I mean, things do cool very quickly on EPACs once the people who buy a lot are done with it. Your market gets kind of flooded by relatively few collectors, I find, who are chasing those really higher end things. They've got deeper pockets, but it's if you've got something that is of a higher end pull, that kind of credit, if you like, stays in the system.
Yeah.
As kind of a closed loop system of and obviously the values and the perceived values do fluctuate, but it's just really interesting. And so I just love it. I just really like the set. It's singing to me in a way that Flair, I liked Flair, but I think I liked obviously the base art is great on Flair. Once you get outside that, it was all about gimmicks. All the different tiers were just different type of production gimmicks on the cards. And I kind of had the interesting thing about Marvel 80th is that Marvel 80th hit me where I feel Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Flair didn't do that for me.
Yeah.
It was just a nice card gimmicky thing to collect, and it has an appeal because of the Marvel brand. For example, pieces of Flair I love, and I'll always love those cards from Flair. But and I will go back and regroup, but I've effectively used all of my top end Flair that took a little while to get and was a bit tricky to get some of it.
Yeah.
And I'm flipping it into Marvel 80 because Marvel 80 I'm going.
I love it, man. I love that you're going all into that.
Yeah, I just love it. I can't wait to get it in hand. I really can't. So chances are it'll probably get shipped to you before it comes to me. So,
I'll have a look at it. Well, I actually went pretty ham as well. With what I've collected.
Tell me.
Here, I'll show you what I have so far.
All right, let me stop sharing my screen so that you can. Well, the interesting thing is your choice of characters because you constantly.
I'm such a weird collector in that sense. Because I always collect like
fresh,
kind of like these weird.
I'm liking what I'm seeing.
This weird stuff. Okay, so
I'm going to blow a kiss to your wife as well.
Sorry, she came in. She was like, "Hi." I was like,
"I saw that."
I saw that. Sorry. Yeah. I got shut up. I got giggly. So yes.
Oh, you're blushing.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so yes, I definitely love the high series characters quite a lot. The Beta Ray I really love. The Medusa I thought looked really good. This Siren, I'm obsessed with that Siren and the positioning and the composition, the Valkyrie as well.
Valkyrie's nice. I wish. Oh, the one thing I will say at this point, there are no base plates for this set.
I wish there were printing plates. I would have really gone ham.
Printing plates. Sorry, yeah. Well, what I'm wondering is, although this has been EPAC's only release, it does make me wonder if at some point they will release it physically, and they've just flipped it around.
I don't know, man. That'd be crazy, though. I don't.
You reckon they will?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because if the printing plates are in the physical product, that would put the physical product in very high demand. that's actually a really neat
That
way
actually would be really cool.
of boosting your physical product sales.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
I don't know. Maybe they're
But
not.
that would be cool.
Given how left field this whole release was.
So I'm gonna put a crazy question out there for you. No.
Go on
It relates. These color spikes. Do you think there's a foil or a hologram effect a little bit?
Oh, that had not occurred to me. Yes,
It
possibly.
looks like it, right? Like, I mean, we've seen these things have problems before where the specs don't quite come. Man, getting Jubilee, Domino, and Silk as the color spikes was a nightmare.
Well, they're the high series. You were chasing them at the same time, all those guys who were going for
That's
the
right.
10.
I like the Lady Sif a lot, too, and Colossus and Morbius. So then these are my retros.
Some of the outfits are so dated.
I love it. These are my retros.
Oh, wow. So you're kind of going for a mini rainbow within the
Yes,
set.
I did. I did the Jubilee. So, and I got the Domino and I got the Silk. I think.
I've actually not had a chance to fully appraise all of the art on all the cards yet. So there's a couple here. For a start, who is
I have
Clay?
no idea.
As a character, but she's wearing quite an
outfit. I had to get her retro because it was such a retro character, and it's such a like. There's, you know what I mean? Like, who knows that? I never heard that character.
I mean, what I find interesting about the set is characters I genuinely haven't heard.
Right? Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. I like the Ironheart a lot. I love the purple aesthetic and all that stuff.
Gwenpool. What's Gwenpool?
I had to get the Gwenpool. I thought it looked good. And then I got my 2 3Ds.
Oh, they're nice. So you got Marvel Zero and Uncanny X-Men 1s. The same.
Very happy with those.
Great minds, etc.
The Dark Phoenix Sega, I don't mind finishing that up. I only like the 3 bottom cards, but I wouldn't mind having the whole puzzle. But I haven't.
I think
I need the whole puzzle.
I think once you see it in the 9 card.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I did get the Infinity Gauntlet because I was absolutely in love with these images.
I just love card number 5 with the watcher in the background. It just sings.
It just sings.
I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh.
No.
Yeah.
These two are my favorites.
Oh, okay. So you've got a sketch. You've got a Colossus sketch. That's nice. Who's that by?
The Colossus. Oh man, really good artist. Let me get the name out.
Well, we'll go back to it because you've opened something else.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, the Magic comic clipping. That one took a lot of convincing to get.
Special one, yeah.
But it was from someone in the group. Thank you so much. You rock. And I'm absolutely in love with that pose and the centering.
That's a nice panel. So we'll pop this on the tasty notes.
And then the Colossus, I think, is one of the best sketch cards I've seen pulled. One of the best 80th sketch cards I've seen pulled, to be honest. In terms of like, I mean, that just looks good.
Oh, that is good. That is good, actually. Yeah. The interesting thing about 80th is that the sketch cards, given the amount of product that's been broken, there's not a massive amount of them out there yet. I think they're quite.
Yeah, I think they are.
There's really not much. There's only 3 Black Cats. Israel Artavis, that? Okay, I've not heard of this artist. This is good. I love discovering new artists on this thing. So it's really clean.
I like it a lot. I have it unlocked, so it's up for grabs and stuff like that. But I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. It's just bait. I'm just interested to see what people will offer or if something will come up. My biggest worry is that the Infinity Gauntlet comic clipping insert will have a surfer.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if they go that far to exclude.
I don't know. So I have a comic clipping.
Would they go that far?
When the surfer was banned, and the surfer is in there, and it's in Thor 228 or 227 issue or whatever, and the surfer's in there. So I have that one. So I'm thinking they wouldn't go that far, but I'm interested to see if it happens. But
well, on ComC, I did see a Black Cat.
Really?
From one of the issues, yeah. Someone flagged it to me, and I went and had a look. But it's slightly at the moment because it's a hot product. Everyone's got top dollar prices on them, and they're not actually moving from what I could see. So it will cool off. There are varying different numbers. I mean, the comic panels, I think some of them are numbered to 40, some of them are numbered to 55. All depends how many panels they get out of the book they can use. So it is a very fluid thing. Check you out combining cards while we're
See,
talking.
I want to do it for your benefit.
I know. No, it's great. I love it.
I
love
figure
it.
you get a kick out of it. I don't know. I was saving it. I was like,
I'm something else. Stephen Bagley, Bag of Fleas. Good evening, Stephen. Did send me a message with his thoughts on the sketch card tiers on that. So I'm just gonna float this in.
Float
it. He's not massively keen on the set overall so far, which is fine. And the price point in Marvel ATF has been a bit controversial. It's at $8.99. You do get 8 cards a pack, but only 2 of those will be physical. When you buy a box, you do get 15 packs, however, so you do get a lot of, you do get a lot of volume in there, but of course a lot of that is again digital. I mean, my box, I did get a sketch. I got one of Hellstrom, I think. It's currently locked because some fella messaged me who's not got a Black Cat sketch to trade for it, but it does have a Black Cat 1 in 5 Fleer Ultra Spider-Man PMG, but it's physical, so I'll take a picture of it. We're just tying it up, so I'll do that. But a lot of people saying that they felt it was overpriced. It should have been $5 a pack as opposed to more. Which, I can kind of see it, but
I see that.
You're
buying access to get it. Trade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think so much about buying these packs really comes into it really comes down to being able to have this system where you can find the cards you want in order to get what you want. So it requires a little bit of work on the side of the collector. And I get the price, but I definitely can see $5.99 being I think I would have purchased more if it was $5.99.
I think I would have as well. I don't know how quickly it'll tail off now that the folk that go in big to get the achievements have done it. I think people will just nibble at it.
Yeah, I agree.
And it'll probably sit on the site for quite a while. So Stephen asked, what do you think of the new tier system for sketches with the Marvel 80th Anniversary Collection? How will value be affected by the rarity, and will the quality of sketch matter as much if the sketch is a much rarer one than the others from the same set, etc., etc.? Now, I've been thinking about that question, and having looked at it, I don't think it is a tier system in terms of rarity. I can see that there are only 5 characters in the Golden Age proportion, but it doesn't mean that there are fewer of each. If you see what I mean.
Because we don't know that for sure.
The Silver Age. Yeah, the Silver Age is what, 15? I've not got it on my screen now, but it's what, 15 characters? And 40 in the Bronze Age. So whilst that is, it looks like a tier, it doesn't say that one is rarer than the other, unless it's on the pack odds. Maybe that's where he's seen it.
Because I have seen a lot of artists who have some APs of this set, and I've seen them all have a lot of. Oh, that's a great one. A lot of Captain America.
You're just flitting.
Well, because I'm doing research.
You are doing research. Do you want me to quickly do it? I can't do it at my end because I'm sharing screen. I can't.
I don't know. I think
I'm just going to exit full screen so I can look at
it. I'll stop the share.
No, it's all right. I've still got it there, but I'm just going to back one and then I can get the dice up. So here we go. Silver Age. Yeah. So Golden Age sketch cards are 1 in 210 packs. Silver Age are 1 in 126, and Bronze Age are 1 in 80 pack. So yes, they're rare in that ring, but I don't think they're rare. I think they're rarer because there are fewer of them. Because I guess they are then, I suppose. Yeah, it's weird. I hadn't thought of it like that. Because there's only 5 characters in Golden Age. Of course, there's going to be fewer of them.
Yeah, that is true.
They might have done. So let's just say, for the example, that there are 50 of each character. So there's still 50 of each of those Golden Age characters. There's just only 5 Golden Age characters.
Well, and no, the characters don't overlap, do they? So yeah, so it'd all be the same.
You're either in You're either in that's what I mean. That's why I don't see it as a tier. It's a tier in terms of the fact that they are tougher to pull, the Golden Age one, because there's fewer characters in the Golden Age set of 5
Right.
sketch cards. But let's assume, and this is the thing we don't know, let's assume that there's still maybe 50 of each.
That's really the key,
character
because it depends
in
how many. It really, because here's the
Yeah.
thing, right? And you have to overlap this with what they've done in the past. Whenever you
Yeah.
do specific character sketch cards, like in Marvel Premiere, those sketches are considered a little more valuable because you can't just do any character. There's a set number of characters. So like back in the Rittenhouse days, where you would see how many cards each sketch card artist did, you know what I mean? In Marvel Premiere, every character had 50, like 2012, every character had 50 sketches of them from the 50
Yeah.
artists or whoever, how many artists participated or however it went. So what I'm thinking, when you have specific characters like this on the specific card and so forth, I think what ends up happening is that there are only so many cards that say Colossus on them and given out. So I imagine there's a number, but do we know that there's a number? No.
And how many of them were accepted? How many were
Yeah.
rejected?
And the thing is, because they can't do a free for all in terms of characters and so forth, you're really looking at, let's say you are a fan of Blade, right? You go and you see what Blade sketches are available. When you see a really good one, in your opinion, that you really like, I would say jump on it, because I would say that's a harder pool to get a very specific character in a style you like from this set. In my opinion, I do think that's kind of a big deal. Yeah.
So it's a nice set. You know the other reason why they do them with character names like
No.
that? E-packs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because otherwise you can't
So
search
that you
for
can
them that way.
search, it's either artist or for most of the sets it is artist. And so you've just got to go through each of the artists to try and find the character you're looking for. At least with this, I can bookmark the Black Cat one and favourite that. I mean, I've only seen 3 on there so far, but there's a 4th one being posted on the group earlier today. But having seen it initially, I then very quickly called on it, because this is a general note for artists. Please stop drawing Black Cat with just all white eyes. I don't. Someone may correct me on this one, but I don't remember ever seeing Black Cat with any kind of suit or costume that had a white kind of visor thing over her eyes in the same way that Spider-Man does. She needs eyeballs.
It's just a fact.
Yeah, just don't do it. It's just, it's like, look, she's got eyes. I mean, virtually every one of my sketches, she's got eyes, even in the 3 that I can see online. See, the 4th one that was pulled earlier and posted on group. It's clearly been locked because it's not visible on the marketplace. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna have a little pause here because we have yet to thank our artist intro, and I have a feeling this might segue into something I know nothing about. So let's do that. But for me, Marvel 80th, double thumbs up.
Yes. Same.
In fact, I'd put more thumbs up if I could. If I was an octopus, I'd have 8 thumbs up. Do octopuses have thumbs?
No.
You had to
I
think
did.
about that.
I
could
was
see your
like,
eyebrows waggling. Yeah.
They have, so squids have the, okay, we're not going to go into this, but yes, no thumbs on octopus and squids.
No thumbs on them. I wonder what they do when they're lonely. Okay, so this week's artist.
You don't get lonely with a tentacle, okay, bro? They're just fine. You don't have to worry about
yeah,
them.
Exactly. Yeah. Where does a fish keep his money?
Oh God, where?
In the riverbank.
Wow.
Hey!
Bada bing.
We will get there. Vincenzo Riccardi, or Vin, as he signs off his emails. Vin, thank you for your wonderful, wonderful accent on a. Thank you for your accent.
Thank you for your accent.
Italy. Yeah, thank you for your accent. Oh, I really need to get more whiskey when I'm doing these episodes. Vin, I first kind of discovered you very, very recently on your Marvel Weekly work, but I know you've done other Marvel sets, but of course you were one of the you know this, listeners. Vincenzo was one of the artists on the Marvel Weekly Achievement sketch cards, and you can see his absolutely glorious work he's posted on his Instagram, which is quite a long one. So I'm going to read it out, but I'm not going to spell it. You're just going to have to rely on the tasting note links, and we'll put it on the Instagram and Twitter as well.
Yeah.
His Instagram is Vincenzo_Riccardi_Vin artwork. So there's quite a lot going on there. He's also got a website, artstation.com/Vin artwork, VIN artwork. So I imagine if you Google Vin artwork, you'll probably find him. But
Yeah.
nice stuff. I really like his style on the Marvel Weekly ones. His post, brush pen and Copic. He's done, and they're nice. They got quite a nice dynamism to them. I think we mentioned last week that someone in the group had pulled the Red Skull. That
Yes.
he did. There's a nice Captain Marvel on his Instagram feed. There's a Daredevil with the original yellow costume.
Well,
You
yeah.
don't see that often.
No. I contacted him the moment I saw that card being pulled, the Red Skull and the other one, and I was absolutely obsessed. So I had him come into the group and post the rest of his cards, which we now see.
Yes, yes. Which is when I hit him up, and then he agreed to do the intro.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So as always, we work awesome as a team. So I haven't commissioned an artist in a long time, and I commissioned him.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
So that says something, because I stopped commissioning for some time. And I'm going to show you the two options he gave me, and we can go through this with the group. So I had him commission Magic.
Right. Okay. Let me get. Right. Share your screen then. This is news.
Here it comes.
Folks. This is Norrin has been saving this. I can't find my.
Well, there's something else I'm saving, so we'll wait for the end of the episode. But these are the two options he gave me for Magic, and it's on a Marvel Weekly artist sketch card, and it's an AP.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah. So these are just rough mock-ups.
They're
roughs. This is not the final product. This is just a rough, just to give me an idea. This is how professional it was.
So what's he? Wow. So what's he drawn them on?
This is on the computer, I believe.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. It doesn't.
They're really pretty. So
we will put this on.
My
the
favorite.
notes.
So I love the X-Men costumes in a wide range. Like my favorite is really, Cyclops in the leather bomber jacket, Jubilee in her leather coat, Gambit in the trench coat. Like those are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
But
early 90s.
Right, Jim Lee kind of run. But I have a soft spot for the blue and yellow.
250 to 300. Yeah.
I like the blue and yellow too. I think they're really cool. Anyway, so I wanted my Magic to have her sword, the blue and yellow, and the devil tail.
It's got the X-Men
and the
belt
horns.
there.
Yeah. So I went ahead and had him do them for me. The first one is her centered walking towards me, and the other one is her kind of at an angle, and you're looking down and you're seeing her in a really cool, powerful stance. I chose the one looking down because I've seen quite a few where she's dead center. So I want.
It's very interestingly subjective, this, isn't it? Because I would have chosen.
Yeah. See, I know a lot of people would, but
Hey, if everyone was the same, it'd be a boring.
That's true. I am slightly regretting my choice now, though. No, I like the one I picked. I'm fine.
No, mate, don't regret it at all. It's beautiful. They're both astonishing. It's like choosing your favorite child.
Yes, we don't have favorite children. That is wrong.
We don't. No. Well, some people do.
I was just joking.
Some people, you look at them when they're out in the grocery market, and you think your child's a dud.
Child's a dud. But... Try again, man. That's some sick stuff.
No. I've lifted that. That was from a podcast, and this is worth listening to. They did a run and they stopped now. So this is a bit of a segue, and I know you've got more to show me. But your child's a dud comes from Sal and Q, who are two of the guys in Impractical Jokers.
Oh.
Which is that
show.
So Q is one of the three guys who does Tell 'em Steve, Dave. So that's where I know Q from.
Okay.
And Q was always part of this comedy troupe called the Tenderloins, who eventually got big and became the Impractical Jokers, but they're still called the Tenderloins, so they still go on tour as the Tenderloins. So Sal and Q, when they started doing the TV show on their downtime, would record a podcast called What Say You?, which is just them talking to each other. And because they're both on the comedy spectrum, especially Sal, who does a lot of stand-up comedy, you ended up with a lot of kind of the improvised sketch stuff. They would just riff off each other. And one of
Wow.
them is this whole thing where Sal goes on this thing about your child's a dud, and it's really worth seeking out. It's called What Say You, and I'll put a link in the tasting notes.
That'd be awesome.
Even if you don't listen to any other. And there's another one where Sal inadvertently ends up with someone else's pants, and then sends them ransom notes saying, "I've got your pants."
Okay.
It's worth listening to. It's worth listening to, and there's visuals to go with it. Anyway, sorry. Back to Vincenzo. Thank you for your intro. Sorry, Vin, you're getting short shrift here. But go and check him out. There's some astonishing stuff on his Instagram feed. There's a black and white Wolverine on there.
Yeah.
Which is just astonishing. It's lovely, really good stuff. So we're going to post pictures of all these on the tasting, well, as many as I can do, because I do the tasting notes when I'm sat at work. Got told off. It's really awesome. Which is why the episode went up a day late. He's a smart-looking fellow, isn't he?
Yes, he is a very handsome guy.
He is a handsome, very young-looking Italian who's also very talented. Unfortunately, I think, judging by the photos he's taken, but never mind. We'll find other handsome artists of either or any gender to throw at you folk. Thank you, Vin. That sketch card's cool, mate.
Yeah,
well
I'm pretty excited. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so
there's
more? Something crazy.
Oh.
And then we can go out. The episode can end on this if you want, unless we got something else.
Oh mate, I had a whole episode planned, and Marvel 80th blew it out of the water.
We killed it. I'm very happy with our Marvel.
No, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Go on.
So, some people consider the very beginning of Marvel trading cards as the 1990 set. Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Which I actually, apologies listeners, I wonder how many people actually do pay attention when they listen, because someone should have picked up on me on this. So last week I talked about Alan Michael, good evening Alan, sending me some wrappers, and I inadvertently, when I first said 1990 Marvel Masterpieces.
Right.
Of course, it's 1990 Marvel Universe, and when I was listening back to it, I was like, you idiot. So apologies everyone for the error, and you should all apologize for not spotting it. Carry on.
Apologies go all around. So some people consider that the first, even though you could argue it's like 1967 or whatever. But these are the first where power gauges were on the back. Did you know kind of quotes were on the back, bios of the character, profile pictures of the character, all that really fun stuff. For over a year and a half, I've been chasing something. I'm going to show Ian first so you can hear his reaction, and then I will explain what it is. Okay, so I'm reaching behind me to get a huge piece of something. Ian is looking at me cautious, slightly worried, and kind of like, what is this guy going to do? What is he going to do? What is that? Oh my God! Oh no!
Oh, wow. Okay. So what I think I'm seeing is the original art, the Silver Surfer card from Marvel Universe 1990. Is that right? Oh, my goodness me. You've just blown out everyone's ears with that squeal. Wow. Well done. Is that Tom? Sorry, Tom. What's his surname? You're going to have to say it to me because I can't read it. Morgan. There we go. Tom Morgan. Yes. Wow. Hats off to you, sir. Well done.
Sir. So the original art done, and
how big is that?
Isn't that cool? It is.
Yeah, it doesn't look.
No,
massive.
it's not massive. So basically,
5x7.
Yeah, basically a little bit bigger, but yeah.
My goodness, that's wonderful.
So he did a bunch, and there was another artist who did a bunch, and so they were all done in ink and pen. And those are the originals. Mm-hmm. And then copies were made, just so I'm sure people are interested in the process of it. So then copies were made, and they were put on acetate, like cells, like you would in animation. And then what happens is they're blown up. And then you had Philip, I forgot his last name, I'll find out, was the colorist for most of them. And he did the coloring. So I know a collector who has most of those color things. But this piece is actually the original art, the ink and pen. and from Tom Mogan, which is
Wonderful.
pretty crazy. It's just hard to get a lot of his
Wow.
original pieces. And I got this piece after a year and a half of asking basically the Marvel Silver Surfer original comic book art collecting guy, Mark Bryan, I think his name is Bryn. I think that's how you say his name. Bryn, super sweet guy.
Yeah.
When I was younger, he had a
Uh-huh.
website up called silversurfer.us, and he had everything from the animated series. He cataloged everything. It was a huge Silver Surfer fan.
Oh, really?
Huge.
Wow. Okay. Like Doctor Strange
Right.
Archive.
But
Yeah.
it was big. It was huge. It just as big,
Mhm.
thorough, all that kind of good stuff. Plot, overviews, all this kind of stuff for shows and comic books, and categorized everything. And I recognized as a kid, I looked him up later on comicartfans.com, started chatting with him, and realized he had this piece.
So he had it. You didn't get it from Tom.
No. But
Oh, okay.
I did speak to Tom. And that's how I figured out all of this stuff.
Right.
So I
okay.
did invite him on the show. He says he loves our show and he's happy that we're doing this stuff and he's a huge fan.
Who Tom does?
Tom does.
Ah, Tom,
So,
good evening,
He's
sir.
a huge fan. He's not really one for podcasts and stuff like that because he doesn't want to. Yeah.
No, it's
But
not everyone's cup of tea.
he does say hi, and he does say he greatly appreciates it, and he's humbled that we are so interested in his work.
What sweet. That's really sweet.
So,
Hello, Tom.
Really nice guy. Basically, one of the godfathers of Marvel trading cards.
Wow.
Yeah. How crazy is that? Well, I've been waiting on this. This came here.
I'm just gonna pick myself up off the
No
floor.
joke. We recorded last Saturday. It got here Tuesday, and I've been just drooling and waiting to show you. But there you go.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew someone had got a new tail wagging this week.
Yes.
I didn't realize it was that. That's astonishing. Well done. Oh, we're dropping bombs left, right, and centre over here, aren't we?
I thought it'd be
Did
cool.
he do the original Black Cat? Did he do the Black Cat from that set?
I don't know, but we can check. Let me see, because that would be amazing. He doesn't have any of the other pieces, but might be worth tracking down because I didn't get it from him again. He hasn't had those pieces since the 90s.
He might know.
He might know where it went.
Mind you, it's the 90s. It probably changed hands a few times. In the 90s, everyone was on a lot of drugs.
Yes, 90s was a bad time. Good time.
90s was a great time. I was just stoned for most of it.
Let me see.
I'm oversharing.
I'm oversharing. I'll look it up.
While you look at that, let me just. We're actually not doing too bad for time. We can probably fit in a few other things.
Yes.
So, although that is, my goodness me, that's something that is right. Let me have a look at my list. So, I want to do this week because it kind of feels like a nice time to do it. Before we do that, and this might blow out the time we've got to do that, we didn't talk last week about. We touched on Christmas, but there's 3 Christmas-related things I want to talk about. First off, I want to say thank you to Tony and Elaine Perner for your unexpected and absolutely wonderful Christmas cards that you sent.
You guys are amazing.
Norrin and I, which is a really sweet thing to do. You know, it blows me away that I'm going to get a bit mushy now, but bear with me. The thing that I love about this whole thing that we've been doing with the podcast and about the group and then leading on to the podcast is that I really do feel like I'm making friends and there's a connection. So it's other collectors, but there's people who are just really sweet to each other for no other reason than to be sweet and just say, yeah, well, I'm enjoying the hobby and, you know, I like what you do. And, you know, people do that to each other. And Tony and Elaine both sent us Christmas cards, which is absolutely wonderful.
Amazing.
Big deal, you think. Okay, you got a Christmas card, and it was just opened it up, and it was a lovely Christmas card. I don't think it was one of their images. I don't think they'd had them printed. I think it was just a Christmas card. However, on opening it, inside, Tony had done in mine one of the most incredible little black hat ink headshot remarks I've seen. And what did he do in yours?
The surfer, baby.
Oh,
dude.
So we'll put pictures of these up. And of course, this Christmas card will go with me to the grave. It's beautiful. I'm looking around because I thought I had it with me, but I don't. However, I will get a picture of it on my screen because I can't remember if you'd seen it. I left it in the office. It arrived the day before I flew to America, and then I left it in the office, so I couldn't get it until this Monday just gone. So let me get it up on my screen, and Norrin, let me just share. I've lost the control to share my screen. Where has it gone? Where has it gone?
Where has it gone?
Where has it gone? Here it is. Lovely Christmas card in and of itself.
Yeah, really nice.
And inside there's a really sweet message. Merry Christmas to you and your family. May your hearts be filled with love and joy. It certainly was when I received this, because that was in it. Wow. Isn't that just beautiful? And this will be on the tasting.
Look at the
notes,
detail
so at this
on
point,
that.
folks hopefully have seen it. This is really nice. And you know, Tony and Elaine, they're both super mad skills. So, but thank
They're
you,
so sweet.
Tony.
They
and
were
Elaine.
so
I just
sweet.
wanted
That
to
broke
make
my
a point
heart.
of saying that on the episode. It was just really sweet. Something really interesting happened to me on Christmas Day. I had a few trades come my way that were unsolicited that just came to me, and they were things that I needed.
Oh wow!
But they asked for very little in return. In fact, one person just gave me like 4 really nice, juicy flare cards for virtually nothing in return. And the message on it was, "Merry Christmas. Thank you for, you know."
What a
And I
that's
noticed
so
that
sweet.
on the EPAX forum, that there were a few people talking on the EPAX forum that they just went on there on Christmas Day and decided to just gift trade random people.
That's so nice.
Now, this particular person, and I know what their user ID on EPAX is, and they did say a name, but I don't fully associate it with the first and surname that's in the group. But I think they're in the group, so I think it was someone who listens. But whoever you were, thank you for that. I just wanted to make a point of saying that. I just thought it was a really interesting thing that people on EPAX did that on Christmas Day.
So nice.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a thing. Only a few people choose to do it, and obviously, you know, it's just a really nice thing to do. And the other thing we didn't talk about is Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, we didn't talk about that. That's right.
At this point, I'm gonna say spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
And if you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker yet, it is, as I record, the 11th of January. This will drop hopefully on Thursday, the 16th of January, if I have time around other stuff to get it organised and Norrin to get it edited. So, if you haven't seen it by now, it's been out 3-4 weeks now. So yeah. Norrin's nodding at me. He's muted himself because he's literally putting his stash back into what I can only describe as one of those safes that you see people in the 70s cracking with drills and like armed guards, and you have a big room with a vault and things like that. And he knows,
you didn't see the combination, did you? You didn't see me jump in there. I couldn't even interrupt.
Of course I did. It was my birthday.
So my cat came around and she was looking at me and she's upset I'm ignoring her. And I was like, she's gonna jump on my stuff. Let me put it away.
Have you ever locked her in the safe by mistake? Have you ever locked her in the safe by mistake?
No. She's tried to get locked in the safe by mistake.
What about your cat? Anyway, so Rise of Skywalker. What do you think?
Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so what? How do we want to talk about this? Do we want to be honest?
If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
I don't. You know, for me,
yes.
If I had to pick a favorite of the 3 of the new ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say my favorite is Last Jedi.
That's very interesting. You said that to me, and I thought that's a very interesting.
The word "interesting" only comes up where I'm like, I totally disagree with you.
No. I don't actually. The difficulty I've got is that Last Jedi. Let me first off say that I enjoyed the heck out of both Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
I enjoyed them as well.
Rise of Skywalker in particular, because I saw it in America and the seat was bigger than my sofa and it fully reclined, and there was probably about another 2 meters walkway in front of my seat before the next row down, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm in hot heaven. It was the no. I'm not going to finish that sentence because that's rude, and we're supposed to be
Rude.
a family podcast. Anyway, but I've only seen Last Jedi once, so I've not rewatched it since I saw it at the cinema, and I really enjoyed it at the time. And then I kind of became aware of a lot of people getting a bit funny about it, and I've read some stuff online where people have been like really anti it, and I like the fact the guy tried to do something new with it. I think it's flawed. I don't think any of the sequel trilogy is perfect in
Agreed.
any way. I think it goes for the nostalgia trip in a
Yep.
big way. I think to a lot of the degree, Force Awakens is actually quite a messy connection of set pieces, but it riffs on the first one so much it's almost kind of a traced carbon
It
copy
really
of it.
is. It's
However,
yeah.
it's
It's
fun.
fun.
It's
I
a
mean, they're all
really
fun. They're
enjoyable
all
film.
fun.
I
They're all
loved it.
entertaining.
Yeah. As in The Last Jedi, which had a moment in it that was genuinely jaw-dropping that I've never seen before on screen in anything. So hats off to you for that, Rian Johnson. And by the way, I think he's the guy who did Looper.
Yeah, he's also the one who just did
Joseph Gordon.
Knives Out, which was really, really good.
Yeah. I've not seen that yet.
It's a good
Not
movie.
seen that. But Looper, I absolutely love.
I liked Looper.
Yeah, I think it's a really, 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 really good time travel movie, and I'm a big fan of time travel movies. So if you want a good time travel movie that will properly blow you away with the audacity of what they choose to do with the story, is Predestination. Predestination is stunning. It's Ethan Hawke.
Oh wow, I've never seen it.
Sarah Snow.
Predestination.
Noah
I'm a sucker
Taylor's in
for
it,
a good time travel movie.
You want a good time? I absolutely promise you, if you don't enjoy Predestination, I will eat my hat.
Done.
You'll love
I'm watching it then.
You'll love it because I know
with
you're
that
into
kind of
film, 'cause
promise.
it's your background.
You know how much I'm into people
mate,
eating hats.
You'll love it.
It's always been a thing of mine.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Sick hobby outside of the card one, but yeah.
Well, you know,
what floats my boat.
You need fiber to move them. That's what I'm going to say. So Rise of Skywalker, I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time in the cinema. I have since I'm one of these people that when I see something at the cinema or when I see any film, I completely suspend my disbelief. There is a lot that would need to happen for me to, and I willingly do so, to the point where I get really, really, really irrationally, perhaps, but genuinely angry at anyone who pulls me out of it. So if anyone's talking in the cinema or texting or something like that, anything, if I'm not in the seat that I want to be in and stuff like that. So I like that experience to be perfect. And so for this one, I absolutely loved it. I was completely carried along by it. Nothing really jarred about it for me. I thought they dealt with Carrie Fisher and the fact that she obviously wasn't alive in a very, very clever way. Did it feel a bit carbon copy of Return of the Jedi in the same way that Force Awakens did of the first Star Wars? Yes, it did. Did they retcon a little bit of the stuff that Rian Johnson had done in Last Jedi? You better believe they did. But some of it they carried on in a really clever way.
I think there were a lot of really clever things down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, and it's just my opinion, so I'm sorry if people disagree, but the idea.
It's our podcast, so you can say.
Yeah, I know, right?
They don't have
to listen. So the idea of Rey not coming from anywhere special, meaning there's no lineage, there's no this royalty kind of stuff. I felt was such an important message for the second movie, especially in today's time period, right? Where you have a lot of arguments with 1% and all this other kind of stuff where, it's the rhetoric is that unless you belong to this, you are not privileged to this. And I feel like the second movie really did a great job with showing how Rey is even better because she doesn't come from anything. And having that scene with a kid grabbing the broomstick, having these kind of moments where anybody can have the Force. It doesn't have to be just a Skywalker, or it doesn't have to be, spoiler alert, the Emperor type of stuff, yada, yada. I don't want to go too much into it if people haven't seen it yet. But for me, that was touching. And that was different. And that was a strong message. And it gave me that sense of wonder as a kid that I had when I was younger, when I first saw the movies, where I was like, oh, wow, that's really sweet. Like, what a great message. What a great thing to say, that you don't have to be you don't have to be in this very tight circle in order to be privileged to making these decisions and having these unique powers and stuff. And that means a lot. And that's kind of, bringing it back to Marvel, that's, in a way, that's kind of the Marvel thing, right? Where X-Men, mutants, Spider-Man, everyone's ordinary, and these things happen to the ordinary people, and they have to deal with ordinary things while they deal with this. And that's what I've always really appreciated about Marvel characters as well. So for me, Star Wars, and the second Star Wars movie, there's a lot of things that the theme of that movie for me is dismissifying, right? Like it's taking away the veil. Luke Skywalker drinking that milk in that disgusting way.
Blue
that
milk.
Really jarring. But then when you think about the theme of the film, it's there to demystify these things, right? It's like, here's this guy who's this Jedi, but he has to live like a pauper. He has to live like a bum on this island and do these things, and he's gross.
Well, no, he chooses
to. Now that's interesting because
he chooses to live in exile,
right? And in a way, because he lived, you know what I mean? Like it takes away, like everyone thought, oh, he's training, he's building himself up, he's doing all these mystical things on this island, when in fact he is with all these porgs and is really unsuspecting. And that's really a beautiful, metaphor. It's a very, very beautiful thematic thing that they're doing there with the second piece. The third piece was fun, entertaining, a thrill ride. I love the introduction of all the cool different types of characters. Zora Bliss was really awesome to see her, and I love that actress. She's in The Americans, which is an amazing show if you haven't seen it. I forget her name.
Kerry Russell.
Kerry Russell.
Kerry Russell. She's a bit of a she's often in JJ.
Right. Yeah, because of Felicity.
Because he was in his first series. Yeah, exactly. She was in Mission Impossible 3.
I think so. Yeah.
She's the one who had the brain. The
that's right. I mean, she's amazing. So I'm really
The Americans, by the way. We did watch seasons 1 and 2.
Amazing.
It jumped the shark for us. We got a bit. We bailed on it. I can't remember what happened in the story, but something happened that didn't quite work for us, and so we bailed. So I know it went on for another 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, so it's a 5-season piece.
Yeah. I think we bailed after season 2.
That happens. Yeah. That and *Halt and Catch Fire* are really good. But Star Wars wise, like to see them go back on that, that was a little disappointing. But as a movie on its own, it was fun. It was entertaining. It was good. I enjoyed it. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of it. The interesting thing I find about it is that they have kept JJ and especially Oscar Isaac quite quiet on the PR front, because I think both of them have come very close to saying things that indicated that there was a longer cut of the movie, or that JJ had to change things because Disney wanted it to be a certain thing. So I'll give you an example. Lando, when there's that group of people who are potentially force sensitive, who they found on that moon where the Death Star wreckage was. One of the actress Jana, a young actress, stunning looking lady. At the end, Lando there, she says, because she's supposedly an orphan because she was taken from her parents, and there's something in the movie where they say, oh, how has the First Order got so many people in it? And it's like, well, because they've been taking kids from their parents, and which is, I think, what happened to Finn. So she says, where are my parents? And Lando kind of looks at her and goes, let's find out. And a lot of people have taken that to be, is he being a smarmy old guy and hitting on a younger lady because he's quite the ladies' man? But what you missed, what was cut out, there was a scene earlier on that apparently is cut out that's in the novelization that says that Lando did actually start a family after the events of Return of the Jedi, and his child was taken. So the insinuation is
that's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. But it's very interesting. A lot of people haven't read it like that. A lot of people have read it as Lando being a bit
saucy,
a bit saucy, because it's Lando.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I guess the interesting thing is, so much so that I have actually seen hashtag release the JJ cut in the same way as Justice League has got released the Snyder cut, because apparently there's another 40 minutes of movie that isn't in it.
That's a lot.
So I don't know. Yeah. But, you know, that some of it does feel quite jumpy. That's the thing about Rise of Skywalker. It does
It
feel
feels
like it makes a few
jumpy.
plot leaps. And if you miss a couple of very, very, very small little bits of dialogue that I think they just ADR'd in, you would miss the connection and the explanation of some of the leaps of logic that
Yeah,
are made.
I agree.
So, I mean, I'm being hypercritical. I really loved it. I know a lot of people didn't. I think it's one of these things like the ending of The Sopranos or like the ending.
I mean, you're
of,
going to disappoint people.
like the ending of Lost, where people get such a, it's never going to be the ending that everyone
Right,
wants to
of
see.
course.
So
Yeah, you're never going to
so,
build up to that hype,
and
or you know.
and let's be honest with you, it's not going to be the ending.
No,
even though
man,
they've
there's
said
so
it's
much
gonna be the
more.
ending.
Come
Of
on.
course, they'll do other
And
stuff.
yeah,
So anyway, Rise of Skywalker,
I
I
thought it
really
was
liked
fun.
it.
I had a really good time
really
watching
enjoyed
it.
it. You know, yeah, it was a fun film. Look, ultimately, it is Star Wars. Whether you like it or not, it is official. It is proper
Yep.
Star Wars, written by and created by and released by the people who are in the position to do that, because you know it's theirs. Mandalorian, I'm on episode 4. That's as far as I've got, so I haven't finished that yet. Anyway, enough Star Wars talk. Was there anything else I wanted to do this week, or can we park? Let me have a look. So we've got a question from a listener that I referred to that we still haven't answered from last year. One artist got in touch with me to talk to me about some stuff that I will talk to you about off air, because we're not supposed to know it. So I don't want to put it on the podcast, but I'll tell you it afterwards. But that artist has also asked a question about characters that I said we'd talk about on this episode. Unfortunately, we're out of kind of time, I think, this week. So we'll do that next week, because I want to give it the proper answer. And we've got our proper mailbag, so you'll need to put that back in your safe. And I wanted to talk about some promo stuff. So I think we'll park it this week, because there's loads going to happen in the next week, I'm sure. That will probably be another set completely come out and be released between now and then.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Yeah, wouldn't it be? That would be absolutely bonkers. Oh yeah. So this one of these guys is sent us some stuff. It's not the guy who's written in, which you've got there. We have had another guy reach out to us. So I'm just going to say hello, Frank, and we'll talk about Frank on next week's episode, because Frank is a really nice guy who's sent some really nice stuff to us, which I've not shared with you yet. So we'll talk about that next time.
Frank.
Just a little plea for people, really. If you are digging it and you are liking it, it would actually really help us out if you would find our page on Facebook, at the MCC Pod, and like that page and leave us a review on that page. If you're not into Facebook, however, and you listen to it through iTunes, it would really make a difference to us if you dig it, for you to click that star rating, and also possibly just type a little bit and just leave us a review there. It just really helps us out.
Full transparency, so you guys understand, the more reviews, the more likes we get, all this kind of good stuff, the more information we will hopefully be of known to us, and that kind of stuff can come back to you, and all this really cool things can start happening a little bit more with the show. So it'd be greatly appreciated.
You know, I'm going to be slightly more blatant than that and say, you know, I've had small chats with some of the guys who work at Upper Deck. I know they know we exist. I haven't yet had any contact with the guys who work at Rittenhouse. I know they don't have the license, but I'd love to talk to them at some point. But ultimately, the more you guys interact and connect with us and dig it and make suggestions and give us talking points like Frank has, and we'll talk about that next week. The question from the artist that we're going to talk about hopefully next week. The feedback from Frank, who says he loves the show. It's all absolutely brilliant. But where it really helps us out and really puts us on the radar and puts us in the minds of the people who do these sets, who create this platform and who commission these artists, ultimately those guys, you know, they've got a lot to do, and they've got a lot of stuff to put out there, and they're probably a small team, and they've probably got quite a lot of balls in the air. If in any way we can make make that an easier process for them to get these sets out into the wild and known about, not that they appear to be having any difficulty with that, then we'd like to do that, and we'd like to be in a position to be able to bring you guys some more exclusive news in any way we can. So basically saying the better profile we have, the better position we'll be to do that. So it's cyclical.
Yes.
You know, it feeds into everything else. I'm going to sign off by showing you one thing I didn't show you last week,
Ooh.
which I'll put on the tasty notes, which is, where is it? It's in here somewhere. So I know I told you I got some stuff shipped from
Yes.
Comsey. There is my Fleer Ultra Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man 94. It is the coin card signed by Sal Buscema.
Oh,
Just because I want to hit you make that noise.
damn. That looks so good.
So these are such nice inserts. They are literally, so what they are for those, and it'll be on the tasting notes, it is a card. It's a fairly thick
really?
card, has to be. And it's got 2 coins in it. And that coin was the cover price of that issue of Spider-Man. So there's 15 cents in there. There's a dime and a, is it nickel? 5 cents?
Yeah.
Yeah. It slightly freaks me out that the 10 cents one is smaller than the 5
Yeah,
cent
isn't that
one.
weird? I don't know. It's even weird for me.
Yeah. We have the same in the UK.
Okay.
Don't even get started. And it's but it's signed by Sal Buscema as well. Like officially signed.
Like on card. That's amazing.
You can get coin cards without the signature. They're just lovely. And I've only got a few of these. I think I've got 2 signed ones. The other one is signed
That is so
by
sick.
Glynis Oliver Marsh, who we spoke about.
Yes.
That one.
Oh, I love that.
That's a nice
Good
one.
cover.
And then I've got 2 that are just I got 3 that are just coins without signature, which are just lovely. So that's the kind of stuff that floats my boat, which is why I'm going so ham on Marvel 80, because they've got those comic cards.
I love the comic cards. I'm just such a fan that they brought those back.
Yeah, so I prefer them over the sketches, just for me personally.
I kind of do too, in a way.
But this set for me, it feels like the more
natural
fit.
fit.
If you're going to want it. Yeah, not. Sorry, I don't say I'm down on the sketches. I'm not at all. I love the design of the sketch cards, and I love the back. I've not yet seen a Black Cat one that I like, and I'd like an oversized one, but I've not yet seen one pop up that has been seen in the wild. Anywho, thank you, folks. Thank you, Norrin.
Thank you, brother.
And as soon as we finish recording, I'm going to tell you some juicy
gossip. Well,
gossips.
We love the gossip.
We love the gossips. We love the gossips.
Happy collecting, everybody.
Enjoy collecting, even.
Enjoy collecting. Why does this happen to me?
Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. You can subscribe via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. Leave us a message via that link with questions, comments, or just to say hi, and we may even play on the show. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Our podcast is at the MCC Pod on Facebook and Twitter, and you can find links on our Facebook page to the 2 groups MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. On Instagram, find us at MMCollectors and at Sketch Card Hive. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.